Here's how to take advantage of your home's equity and turn it into cash flow. Right now, there are so many opportunities to take advantage of to create cash flow in this market, or actually in any market. And Warren Buffett, the greatest investor of all time, said, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you'll work till you die. If you own a home with a bunch of equity, maybe you're house rich, but maybe cash poor, this video is for you. And maybe if you're struggling to pay those bills, but you have a home that's almost paid off or a bunch of equity, then this video is for you as well. And if you own one or two single family rental properties with a bunch of equity, but you still feel like you're nowhere near that point of retirement, then this video is also for you as well. Now, first off, a few important things I want to cover before I dive into everything. I'm not a tax professional. Always contact your accountant with any tax questions at all. And another thing, if you're one that has equity, as good as that is, don't think that you need to rush out and use it. And I know it's contradictory to today's video on creating cash flow with your equity, but you also need to understand what you're doing with it. And if you don't, you might be better off just leaving it alone altogether. Real estate investing can be tricky and complicated, and there are financial risks involved. And especially if you're over your 40s, make sure you get advice from the right people, as you never want to lose and start over, as that can take a long time to recover. Now let's talk about home equity and what it is, especially for the people that don't know out there. Now, home equity is the difference between what your home's fair market value is and what you owe on that home. Oh, by the way, if you own your home free and clear, at the end of the day, really, it's not free and clear. You still have things like property taxes, homeowners insurance, utilities, and other maintenance items to always factor in. So always keep that in mind as well. Now, here is an example of this. You have a home that's worth $800,000 and you owe $400,000, and you subtract the fair market value from what you owe and you'll get $400,000, and that is the amount of equity that is sitting in your home. Now, here are a few ways that you can pull that equity out, and usually, I should say often, you can pull it out tax-free. But again, full disclaimer, always check with your accountant on any of this. Anyway, here's how you can use your equity to invest in real estate and buy income-producing properties. The first is a home equity line of credit, or what's known as a HELOC. The second way is a cash-out refinance. The third way, sell a property outright. And the fourth is a 1031 exchange. Now, a home equity line of credit is a great option to have, but you need to understand all of its pros and cons. Now, back to our earlier example of that fair market value of your home being $800,000 and you owe $400,000, and depending where you get that home equity line of credit, most banks will at least do 80% loan to value on owner-occupied property. Now, back in the days, you could get 100% loan to value, but that was a dangerous scenario for a lot of people. So now 80% is usually your top loan to value. And again, this applies to owner-occupied properties, meaning your primary residence. After we work the numbers, here's how your total home equity line would be counted at 80% loan to value. You would have your $800,000 value, 80% loan to value. Hopefully you can read that. Gives you $640,000, as that's 80% of the market value. Then you take this and you subtract out the $400,000 that you owe. It gives you $240,000 on your HELOC. This amount is tied to an index, meaning how much interest you would pay. And usually it's prime plus 0, depending on your credit scores, maybe prime plus 1 and so forth. In a rate environment like we're in now, prime, say it's around 8%, then you'd at least be that, or let's say 9% if it's prime plus 1, and if it's prime plus 2 and so forth, you just add that to the initial prime rate. And these can be interest-only payments as well. And the good thing with a home equity line of credit is there's no payments due unless you actually draw from the amount that you're approved for. Then you only pay on the amount that you actually draw. And if it's $50,000, then you just pay on that $50,000 and that's it. You can also get a home equity line of credit on your rental properties as well, but only a few banks will offer that. And your loan to value, it may drop usually from 80% to maybe 75, even 70% loan to value on those investment property home equity lines of credit. Now I have these ready and set up on all my properties just in case I need access to that money right away. And I definitely suggest at least having an option like this and only use it if absolutely necessary and the right time to do so, because it's a great thing to have. Now, another way is a cash out refinance. Again, you'll be limited on your loan to value. Usually cash out refinances are 75 to 80% loan to value, and usually less on investment properties. And when you do a cash out refi, your fees are also more, and your payment is based on your total loan balance that you take out, unlike the earlier example of the home equity line of credit. You will get immediate cash though, and due to many restrictions on home equity lines of credit, this may be your only option to do. But if it is to achieve the investment you're trying to buy, it's always well worth it. Now, the next option is sell a property. Now, if you have any single family residence or rental property or rental properties, and you can sell one of those properties to buy another real estate investment that will produce better income for you, that is always a good option to do as well. Again, you will have large fees on this type of transaction, as you'll have commissions and title fees just like any other regular sale. Now, option 4 is do a 1031 exchange. And this is a very popular option for a lot of investors, as this will defer your capital gains. And full disclaimer again, consult your tax professional about any of this, but defer your capital gains to purchase a larger income property. And 1031 exchanges, they apply to rental properties. They do not apply to flip properties or any primary residence, but this will be a method after owning a few investment properties that you will likely use again and again down the road. So that's 4 ways to utilize your home's equity. Now that you've taken one of those options and you have your money, now it's time to get out and get that investment property. Now, if you need help understanding more of this or what I'm about to discuss and need a good agent to help you along the way, my contact link is down below. Shoot me your information. I can connect you with anyone in my network throughout the country. Anyway, you're going to need a great agent that invests in real estate or some type of mentor to help you along the way if you do not know how to analyze these deals when you're moving forward. Now, don't try to jump in it, just wing it. You need to start with good education and the right people and trustworthy people around you. There are great investor groups out there. There's real estate agents like myself that invest in real estate and many good educational options. But whatever you do, just do not do this alone unless you totally understand everything about real estate investing, as it can be tricky, and especially if you get into commercial real estate. Now, you'll need to focus on a property type. Are you interested in multifamily properties, apartments, storage facilities, mobile home parks, even shopping centers? Whatever it is, pick one, focus on it, and perfect your skills in that particular sector. Now, after you pick the properties to focus on now, it's time to analyze those deals. Now, start by looking at a lot of properties so you can get a firm understanding of how everything breaks down on them. Collect the financials, calculate the costs and the income, and also your potential returns. And you will get better at this as you continue to do this. But as stated earlier, get a good, trustworthy mentor or an agent around you to help you analyze and understand all the numbers of any real estate investment that you're looking at. You'll feel overwhelmed at first, but over time, trust me, it will get easier. Now, this may sound pretty basic and hard to believe, but people actually don't even factor in these things to make sure that these new real estate investments are going to cover all the costs. Now, here is an example of a storage facility that we had just purchased within the last year, and these are the numbers on how it broke down. So here it is. We purchased a storage facility for $1 million. The rents were $165,000. and included in there a 5% vacancy, which brings it to 156,750. Our expenses annually are 50,068. NOI or net operating income 106,682. Our mortgage we got on the main balance, and annually at 8%, we have expense of 65,601. Your HELOC annually is $21,250, and our cash flow is $19,831. Hopefully you can read that. Basically $1,652 a month, giving you 7.9% cash on cash return. So you can see how all these numbers play out when you utilize your home equity line of credit to help purchase real estate investment. I hope all those numbers made sense for you. Now let's just recap the benefits of taking advantage of your home equity. Now, first off, you get that monthly cash flow. Second, you receive those tax benefits from owning those properties, but consult your tax professional on that just to make sure. You'll also have a loan pay down every month, and your balance will decrease and build equity over time. And if you increase those rents over time, you're going to bring that property value up, also creating more equity. And after a few years, you can even go refinance that property, pull out your original money, pay that HELOC back, then go out and repeat this process on a new property. Anyway, it's a great, powerful tool to use and a great way to build long-term wealth. I hope you found this video informational, and if you think someone could benefit from it, please share with them. Also, my contact link's down below if you have additional questions, or maybe you need somebody out in your area to help you as well. And please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.